Hello guys, and welcome to another episode. Today I'm going to call this episode like the things I often regret. And one of the things that I regret is I haven't been able to test and play around with the Super Nintendo emulator so far using my PlayStation 2 console, because the emulator was always there inside the memory card that holds the free McBoot, but I guess I was a bit busy populating the USB stick with ISOs and images from games to be played on the PS2 console. And I guess the option to go through the Super Nintendo emulator was overlooked. I don't know, but just last night I managed to download some ROM images, Nintendo games, and create a folder and put everything inside. And one of my favorites is R-Type, which you can see is working and loaded just fine. And the good news is that all the ROM images for the Super Nintendo console are little images, from some kilobytes to only a few megabytes, depending on the size of the game. But this is something which is very good, because we can literally place hundreds and hundreds of games onto a single 32 giga or 16 giga a memory stick. So these are the good news. The bad news is that some of the ROM images cannot be working under the emulator. I don't know why. Compatibility issues. The graphics are scrambled. Not the audio. For the most part, it's the graphics that is scrambled, and the games cannot be played at all. I came across a couple of those. You know, give you an example in a while. R-Type is one of my ever favorites. Sorry, I'm just so excited now, because, as I said, I haven't had the chance to play with the emulator for a couple of years, since the day I managed to set up the McBoot, free McBoot, for the first time. It's a shame. So now I'm gonna download as many games as I can. But let's go back to the compatibility issue that we might face. And as you can see, this is exactly what I was talking about. Scrambled images. You cannot see anything. There is no gameplay. Something is happening in the background, like some characters are moving or walking or whatever they do, or shooting each other, but you cannot see anything. I don't know why. I'm pushing some buttons, but some shades or some parts of the screen are changing, but nothing happens. So just keep this in mind. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I mean, it's not such a big issue, but just keep this in mind. Some of the ROM images might not be working after all. And another thing, yet another thing we should be looking for, just a piece of advice, is to watch out for Japanese versions only, where you cannot see any other text, especially adventure games with dialogues. Like at this point, these ladies are talking to each other, but we cannot understand a single thing. So version of the game is marked in the parentheses next to the game, the name of the game, marked as J, so it's going to be Japanese version. Don't waste your time. You don't want that. Look for the U or the E letter inside the parenthesis, which stands for English and the US. So following the path to my McBoot booting sequence. Now here you can see, for those of you you already have a previous version without the Super Nintendo emulator, just go and get it. That's my absolutely my piece of advice. It was always here, the Super Nintendo Station, as it's called, and it was always there waiting for some ROM images, some games to be loaded, some special folder with games to be set up. But as I said, I have never done this in the past, and it's pretty straightforward. You have to go to massive storage, which in this case is our USB stick, and inside there, on the physical folder on your PC, you can put, let's say, SNES games, whatever you want to call the folder, or just games, and inside the folder you can put the games, the images of the games. I really wish I have figured this out a bit earlier, but okay, never mind. Now this emulator is so good. It's all realistic gameplay. The emulator itself is a very light piece of software, trouble-free, and I would say it is highly compatible with most of the ROM games available, with most of the games, but also accurate. As you can see, graphics here, Choplifter is one of my favorites, is accurate and fully compatible with the PlayStation 2 console. The emulator works fine. The graphics are great, no lagging, nothing like that. For the most part, it's absolutely fine, fully compatible, and highly accurate, I would say. Apart from, let's say, 10% of the games, I don't know how much that would be, which are not compatible for whatever reason. I assume it's the graphics part that it's not compatible, but that's just my idea. I'm not sure. Now going back to the installation notes, which is a pretty easy and straightforward thing to do. As you can see, I have here some folders onto the USB stick, and the DVD folder holds all the ISOs for the PlayStation 2 compatible games. There is another one, which is the CD folder, which holds nothing for the moment. The boot folder, which holds all the software, and here we have the Super Nintendo station, the SNES ELF file, which is the actual emulator, and I have created the SNES games folder, so it doesn't have to be on the same root folder with the emulator, not at all. You don't have to. You can create your own games folder like this one and put everything inside, all together or under folder for each and every game. It's up to you to decide. And then the SMC file can be run, and here we have it. The program, the game is launched. As you can see, Cyber Knight here has a J on the right side, which means that is a totally Japanese version. So I have to find another version of the game with the E sign, the letter, or the U, which stands for English, of course. And several games like Castlevania, one of my favorites, are now under this folder, and you can navigate yourself and pick the game you wish to play and start playing right there on the spot instantly. And like I said, hundreds of games can be loaded onto a single USB stick. Hundreds and hundreds of games. I'm gonna leave this one running, this demo, so we can hear the sound capabilities, which are also great. Okay, I think it's time to wrap it up. That was all for the day. A short video just to present the Super Nintendo emulator that was for more than a year onto my free McBoot card, and I didn't have the chance to play with it before. Massive storage device. Here is the USB stick, the Nintendo games into some folder of yours on the root directory, and then you can play endless hours of gameplay. Super Nintendo ROMs can be found around the internet, and if you don't have this emulator, this light, accurate and compatible flexible emulator, I strongly suggest you download it and install it onto your free McBoot card so that your PlayStation 2 console can play all the Super Nintendo games from the past. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you like this stuff, please do consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know if you have made it, set it up, and if you liked it and all that. All your comments down here below, you know the drill. And I'll be catching you soon with another video, another demo, retro machine presentation overview, modifications that we do, or repairs over retro systems, game consoles, or home micros from the past, whatever that will be. Hopefully, if time permits, I'll be catching you soon. So bye for now. Thanks.